these bolts off here, and we will remove this clutch. We need to pull this clutch, or this oil filter cover here. 3 Allen bolts, 5mm. One is just a little bit bigger than the other. Alright, and that's a specialty bolt there, so you want to make sure you put that one back in there. We'll keep those together. Oil filter is here. Cover with bolts. Now we'll be able to pull that clutch cover. This clutch bolt ran all the way through, and so we wouldn't be able to pull that clutch cover without pulling that oil filter first. There we go. There's the clutches. We'll let that sit there and drain. The shift shaft here, kind of pull those pieces apart. There'll be a couple bolts holding this cover on here. So once we pull these clutches, we'll remove this separate crankcase. These, we'll need to flatten these keepers here. 1 1/8 inches. Move that, that's just regular threads. This pull up here. This, we got to spin these grooves here. That'll allow that centrifugal clutch to come up. So you want to line that up with this. There's several different places, 2 different places on this clutch that have this indentation. Otherwise your centrifugal clutch will hit on your other clutch there. And it's one way, so if you spin it past that area, you have to spin all the way around until you find the other one. There, and that clutch is off. So that's your centrifugal clutch there. Here's your inner and your outer. And then we've got a one-way gear in there, or a one-way bearing. So a lot of times these will groove, and this one's got some grooving in there, but it's still usable. Here's your crankshaft here, and then we'll remove the clutch basket here. That's going to remove these 4 springs here. Now what we'll do is set these off to the side, because those will both go back on there in just a second. We've got another keeper here on this nut that will flatten. .24mm bolt there, or a nut. And you'll want to keep this from spinning, so I just grabbed, my impact isn't that strong. I just grab a rag and I'll put my hand down in there and hold on one of those pieces there. Now once you pull this up, pull this keeper. Now what you can do is put this back together, and I'll show you the reason for doing that here in a second. Okay, now what you'll be able to do is pull up on this and to remove that. And you can replace your discs or friction plates there. Now you have to do that to remove the basket, because this washer here has got splines in it that'll match up with this shaft. So if you don't pull those plates off, you won't be able to remove this basket. And these will just line right up. They've got little splines in there that match up with this. Now you could potentially set this back in there and remove them like that. And there's your clutch basket. These pieces will go with it, or an inner clutch cover, excuse me. Some of the gaskets here, there's only a couple Phillips on there. holding this cover on. We got one more here, so that's why we're not able to come out there. Come out as easy as that. There's your clutch cover there, inner clutch cover. Here's your oil pump. Here's your crankshaft here. And there's a gear there. Now we can spin that oil pump and pull that off. 3 bolts here that you need to take off. One of them, there's actually 4 bolts that you can see. One of them is just used to hold that oil pump together. So you actually don't have to remove that one. And you can tell which one that is when you line these up. Those 3. They're a tapered Phillips screw. If you don't use tapered, the oil pump, this plastic gear will hit on it. Feels this. So all the times it takes a little bit of pressure to get that off of there, this gasket will stick. So I always try to keep the tapered screws together with it. So just do a half turn and that'll hold those in there.